Oh man, today I want to talk about Rue Caramel and some slivers, dude. The name strikes fear into players of all formats. Alright folks, I have a little confession to make here. I don't like country music, right? I mean, I'll get down with some Johnny Cash or Chris Christopherson or something, but modern pop country is pretty garbage. Also, I have a sliver deck, alright? Honestly, I don't think it's even that good. It's functional, can win some commander games for sure, but it's linear and it's dependent on what slivers you get out. It's very reliant on a decent board state and it's vulnerable to board wipes, as always, but it's fun, you know. I bought a collection in 2020 from a work friend and it had all the slivers in it, so I said, why not? Why shouldn't I keep it? Slivers, for those of you who don't know, who have been asleep for the past 25 years or something, they're like one-armed aliens from the movies out of the 80s. Remember those 80s aliens movies, dude, with H.R. Geiger, things coming out of the walls, dude? They're like the aliens in the movies. They steal characteristics of other creatures and add them to your slivers, or all slivers, depending on the era. I don't know why most of them have just one arm. I think it's their reproductive organ, but listen, I'm not a biologist. Anyways, dude, all speculation aside, they debuted back in Tempest and have one big legendary, the Sliver Queen, on the reserve list. They make appearances periodically in different draft sets throughout Magic's history, and there are currently 115. In addition to Sliver Queen, there are 5 other legendary slivers, and they kinda all go in each other's decks. Alright, first up you got the newly printed Sliver Grave Mother. This is a pretty dope card, dude. It adds graveyard synergies in the form of Encore and removes the legend rule interactions with your Encore legends. It's a pretty nice card, dude. I like this one. And then coming in from 2015, you have the Sliver Hive Lord, dude. It's a 5/5 that gives sliver creatures you control indestructible. His art echoes the Sliver Queen. He's chilling in the underworld looking up at the sun shining through the hole above. It's one of my favorite arts on the slivers. Now, Sliver Legion was not in the collection that I bought, so I had to pick one up when it got reprinted in Time Spiral Remastered. I picked it up for about $8-10, something like that. So this is just a massive pump, dude. This is devastating in any deck that's making sliver tokens and plopping a bunch of slivers onto the battlefield. Now, Sliver Overlord is an interesting one. So this is Wooburg for a legendary creature, Sliver Mutant. It's a 7/7, has 3, search your library for a sliver card, reveal that card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And 3, gain control of target sliver. This guy is also a mutant for whatever reason, I don't know why. I have him at the helm of my commander deck currently. He's got 3 appendages, so he's a pretty lucky guy, I guess. Sliver ladies love that. And then we have the first Sliver. So this is also Wooburg for a legendary creature. It's a Sliver, 7/7, has Cascade. And sliver spells you cast have Cascade. Jeebus, this guy came out in Modern Horizons and just starts cascading all over the shop until the board is quivering with slivers. So let's talk about another interesting legend recently spoiled in the Commander Masters Commander pre-constructed decks. But first, take your appendage, right? Even if you only have one. If that's the case, get some medical help, brother. But take that appendage and plop it down on the like and subscribe buttons, dude. Every little bit helps. Everything counts in large amounts. Alright, so check out this hot little lady here. You got Rue Caramel, Biologist. It's Wooburg for a legendary creature, Human Wizard. It's a 3/3. As she enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Slivers you control and non-token creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other creature types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that are on the battlefield. Has 3 and tap, create a 1/1 colorless sliver creature token. Wow, so listen, this is interesting for 5 mana. We don't see this type changing effect in the command zone very often, if ever. I don't know if there's any other commanders like this. The text, slivers and token creatures you control, has some interesting implications. First off, it accounts for her as well. She's a non-token creature and you are in a controller. If you gain control of something, say with Conquering Manticore or some effect like that, then they're slivers as well, brother. It's a static effect that applies while she's on the battlefield. That first ability is interesting as well. There are a few ways to build that. My first thought was probably the same as other people's: make your slivers into elves or zombies or dragons or humans or something like that. Get all their benefits as well. You can definitely make a deck doing that, but the other tribe you settle on won't get the benefit of being slivers. So then I read it again and I realized you could just name slivers. Every utility creature, every ETB monster, every top end creature would get all the benefits your slivers confer while they're on the battlefield. This makes slivers less linear, more powerful, and more interesting. You can lean into a bunch of different directions with a sliver deck with Rue Caramel at the helm, dude. The downside is that you'd have to waste a turn on a commander that did basically nothing. 3/3 for 5 mana that can make a 1/1 colorless sliver token for 3 mana. That's the downside, but the upside is really interesting. Not sure how I feel about it, but after reading it and thinking about it, I'm intent on making this the commander for my Sliver deck. I've already got the 5-color legendary Slivers and all the key Slivers to make a sweet deck. Supplementing that with fun and interesting creatures seems like my kind of a deck, dude. So what are some creatures that we're gonna turn into Slivers? Well, there's a whole bunch, but how about cards like Beast Whisperer? Creatures that draw cards in this obviously creature-centered deck are going to be pretty amazing in the long run. Then you have cards like Bane of Progress. It's emblematic of creatures that destroy stuff that we don't care about. If it enters as a Sliver, it's going to gain all the existing advantages conferred by your existing Slivers. There are a bunch of Slivers that grant haste, so attack triggers are going to be awesome. And the best of them is Itali Primal Storm. This is going to generate a ton of value over the turns. Then you have Skithrix, the dang Blight Dragon, dude. This guy's gonna get pumped up for all your Sliver pump effects, and this thing is only about $7 right now. This can be absolutely devastating, my brother. It can end players in 1 or 2 shots. Oh my gosh, look at Aurelia the War Leader, looking fly, looking lovely with her 2 swords and her fancy hat, dude. Get out there, get them extra combats. This one also just got a reprint, and it's under $450 for right now. Slivers rely on combat damage, and remember, this is getting all the advantages of Sliver boons on the battlefield. Stonehoof Chieftain, this is another reprint at the top end of the curve at 8 mana. This guy makes all your Slivers tramply and indestructible. The Ramos Dragon Engine, this would get a ton of mana acceleration off your 5-color Sliver Legends. This guy as a Sliver would be absolutely terrifying. And how about Animar Solar Element Sliver? This guy, no matter what deck he's in, is a real pain to deal with. Imagine if he's a dang Sliver, dude. How about this guy, Kool-Aid Teller of Tales? This guy's a card advantage monster that benefits greatly from a concentration of creatures. How about the old Cold-Eyed Selkie here? If you never saw it, it's 1 and a hybrid green blue for a creature Merfolk Rogue. It's a 1/1 with Island Walk. Whenever this guy deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. I'm a huge fan of the old Selkie here, especially when we're in an aggressive Sliver deck that's going to pump her on up. The other thing you could do in a deck like this is to lean into one tribe or another that specializes in an effect that you want that synergizes with each other. Make the entire suite of that creature type into Slivers. They can buff each other as well. You have things like zombies, dragons, elves. Those are the top 3, but humans aren't a bad tribe to lean into either. And then you have the rest of the myriad tribes that you could lean into as well. Dude, you got sea monsters, whatever the heck you want to do. Anyways, man, I know this set isn't even out yet, but I'm looking forward to tinkering with Rue-Caramel here, or however the heck you say, Rue-Caramel. It's a nuanced and fascinating commander with a wide open build path. This thing's going to be popular, I'm predicting it right now. This creature type fixing hasn't really been seen, and I applaud whoever designed this. It's nuanced, it's not overpowered, but it's really fun and interesting to build into. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but drop your includes in the comments. I want to see the creatures you guys want to turn into Slivers, or I want to see the creatures that you want to turn your Slivers into. Sneaky G from Better Commander, signing off.